All right, here we go. Letter S. Now, I'm not going to lie. I cannot tell a lie, like George Washington allegedly said, right? Letter S. Kind of tricky. Like, actually, quite tricky. Why is letter S so tricky? Because it's not symmetrical, has no symmetry. It has all these curves. Then it has this weird, like, diagonally thing that it does. So it's not easy. It's not easy. But you know what? We got it. We got it. Growth mindset. We got it. All right. Here's the four spaces that the S is going to live in. So we're going to tackle this. Now, this involves a ton of erasing, like a whole giant ton. So, we're going to draw basically a capital letter I kind of ish by putting a top and a bottom. Make sure you're lining up with your guidelines. And then we're going to draw a middle, and then we're going to curve it. Okay, so let's take our ruler. It might be easier. Let's see if we get lucky here. Let's see if we like centimeters better than... it's up to you. We'll use inches. Okay, remember this space up here is nothingness. That is not zero. I'm going to line up that mark with my top guideline, and you'll see, due to things beyond our control, basically has to do with the width of the pencil, it is a little more than 4 inches. So I'm going to make my halfway mark. And then I'm going to take my block. Hopefully by now you kind of maybe understand it. I hope a bit. You probably see that there's some marks on the marks from other people. Hopefully they did it well. In the video, this is going to look very, very poorly aligned because of the angle of the camera. But I'm going to put 2 marks there. Then I'm going to use my handy dandy T-square because I want things straight, because I am a technical drawer. And I'm going to make make sure that's hooked on there. No gaps, no spaces. Okay, so now I have what looks crazy. I have a grid. I did not extend all the way into box 1, space 1. If you did, that's fine. All right, so this is sort of like that wonky S where it's, very boxy. I do not need, so if we're looking at spaces this way, up and down, they're sort of like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I definitely don't need these last 2 marks in space 2. And I definitely don't need the last 2 marks in, oh no, I dropped my ruler. Wah, wah. Wow, that went pretty far. And I do need this line. I'm sorry. I do not need the left 2 marks in space 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you look at this, you have this super blocky S, right? It's almost like a 4 or 5. That's why I don't love it, because it looks cuckoo. All right, so I'm going to start to curve this, and I'm actually going to draw this in. It'll be easier to explain this. So I want my S to have a nice SE shape. So I'm going to have to start a nice curve. So I'm going to put a curve in. I don't know why I'm starting at the bottom, but I am. I'm going to draw a curve from these grid points, sort of make that. And then I'm going to draw the same thing up here, similar. So now I have a curve. Do you see it starting to form? Even though I don't think that's going to be good because it's going to be too wide. But we're going to make this work. So now I'm going to round the inner part of the curve. I'm going to sort of erase that away so you could see the S starting to form. Now, these will connect. And the curve will come around and sort of hit this. Now, so I'm pretty happy with that, but I really don't want the top to be so flat. I do want it to curve quite a bit. So I'm going to start with the outside of the S to like kind of figure out like the shape that I want it to. I don't think I'm explaining this very well. I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm showing it. My words are just not working. Okay, so I'm going to start with the upper part of the curve here. And I have to make it end. I have to make this end at my fourth line. But I also have to keep it 3/4 inch. So I'm going to make a mark there. And then what I think I'm going to do actually is I'm going to place the block along the curve to kind of help me make sure that I'm maintaining my 3/4 inch goal. See how I did that? So now I know that this kind of has to go like this. And then I'm going to use my ruler to sort of cut it down. Let's do the same thing at the bottom. I told you it's tricky. Okay, so I want this to come up. And I'm going to have to play a little bit with like these curves because I really don't want it to look so flat at the top. I think it's important that it looks curved. So I have to come in here and like change this a little bit to really make it look curved. I don't want it flat or I'm sort of ruining the whole thing. Now this to me, yeah, this looks wide, I could tell. So this has to come in a little bit. You see how I'm using the block to check the width? Like it should be all the way across. That's a good... So I'm going to try it over here to do the same thing. I'm going to put the block. I know on the camera, again, it just has to do with the angle, but I promise you that because you're looking at like the top and I'm looking at the bottom, which you can't see. So I'm putting the bottom on my curve and I'm just sort of making a dot on the opposite side to help me. First, I should clean this up and decide what curve I'm using here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so now I could follow these marks to curve that. Now, I think that's a decent S. Hey, I think that came out pretty good. It is tricky. Please try hard to not get super frustrated because this deals with a lot of curves. And again, because it's not symmetrical, you really have to draw the whole thing, like by hand. Have fun.